Welcome, everyone, to our first FinOps Foundation Women in FinOps series of 2024. My name is Regina Schulte. I'm a community advisor lead with the FinOps Foundation. I'm so excited for this session. I know you're going to enjoy it. Our guest speaker today, Salome Keet. Salome is the head of enterprise asset management with First National Bank. It is my pleasure to welcome our guest speaker today, Salome Keet. Hello, Salome.
Hi, thank you for having me, Regina. It's lovely to be here.
Absolutely. So I just shared with our audience a little bit about your professional life. If you would tell us a little bit more about who you are, what you enjoy in your personal life, what's important to you.
Thank you. I'm a mother of two teenagers. So I think that is first and foremost who I am. And I'm also a mother of three doggies. And then I love sports. I love running. I love reading, and but just in general, an outdoorsy type person.
When we met the first time and just got to know each other a little bit, we both talked about our passion for sports. I love sports. Tell us about why. I know running is important to you. You run marathons, which I admire. That's not something I've ever been able to do. I could run all day up and down a basketball court, but to go out and run a marathon, I've just never been able to get to that place. Tell us about why running is important to you, what that gives you.
It's the ultimate me time, Regina. It is just you and your thoughts and the road, and you know, practicing self-care in that manner. So yes, I'm terribly unfit at the moment, so I need to get back into my marathons. But I think that, you know, I absolutely enjoy road running.
Yeah. I know for me, when I get out and do something physical, it is my me time. It's my reset time is what it is. It's very important to me. Your career started in finance and economics. Tell us about how you began in that area. What did your career look like in the beginning? And is this where you expected to be, where you are right now at this point in your life?
Never. I would never have guessed. So I studied finance and accounting and economics and banking. And I think I was on the road of becoming a chartered accountant, maybe, or, you know, that was the road that I saw myself in. So I started as a bookkeeper way back when. And from there on, I moved into IT finance. And most of my career from then onwards has been on IT finance. After IT finance, I moved into hardware asset management and then software asset management. And then part of software asset management in the very beginning was the concept of cloud cost management, you know, which was then later what became FinOps. So it was that natural progression then from IT finance and then, you know, into the IT asset management space and then later on into FinOps. So but it's, I must say, whilst I didn't expect that to happen, I'm very glad that it happened, because to save costs and to just make a difference in terms of your company's bottom line at the end of the day, that is really a very worthy effort for me.
Absolutely. Both finance and IT are pretty male-dominated worlds. Can you tell us what it's been like for you as a successful woman to navigate through a male-dominated world?
Absolutely. I realized very quickly in my career that one needs to take up their space. It's very important for us as women to not go into the conversation seeing us as any different from our male counterparts. So that would be that for me is the message, is that we really need to get in there, and that's what I've been doing, what I'm trying to do, because mostly a lot of my interactions still is very male dominated. A woman in today's industry can't actually think less of herself or think that, you know, she's any different. We've got to take our space. We've got to actually work at the same level that our male counterparts do. Because, you know, for me, at the end of the day, when that is your outlook, you know, you don't see yourself as different from your male counterpart. And then you are also in your head becoming on a level basis with them. Now that, I cannot emphasize that more than that. There's no space for us to stand back, make ourselves smaller.
I think you are the fourth Women in FinOps interview I've conducted, and that is a common message. We have to be our own best advocate. We have to. I know eventually you moved into the FinOps arena, which led you right here to where we are right now. Tell us about your FinOps journey.
So, as I said, in the beginning, it really was as part of software asset management that we were looking at it. So it was not quite to the discipline that it was now. So we started just with low-level managing of Azure and AWS accounts, but then we slowly started morphing and adopting the FinOps practices and the FinOps disciplines, etc. So at the moment, it's doing well in our group. It's still quite in the beginning stages, but I think we are making a lot of progress. The teams have worked incredibly hard over the last 2 years, and there's inroads. Definitely, I feel that we are making inroads in the organization.
I often hear people say that they were doing FinOps before they realized it was FinOps. Was that the case for you?
Exactly. No, it was exactly the case. We thought it was just looking at the licenses and at the cost of the cloud, and then we realized, okay, this is actually a much larger thing.
How big is your team?
At the moment, it's myself and one other person. We are growing our team as we're going along. But, that's just from the centralized FinOps team. Of course, we have our stakeholders and personas across the entire bank that we are dealing with.
So when you started your FinOps team, you had to build a bridge between finance and FinOps. What skills do you feel were critical for you at that time? And what skills do you think are needed to build any bridge, especially for women in tech?
So I think it's stakeholder management. I think for me, that has been how I was building the software asset management team in our organization. And that as well, I feel, was one of the critical skills that helped me to build the bridge over to the FinOps discussions. Of course, it helped me a little bit that I have already been in the bank for a while. I've been driving software asset management, so people knew that is something, cost optimization, license cost optimization. Those are the things that I was looking at. So it was that assisted me to move from the one area into the other. But more than anything else, I would say stakeholder management and really speaking to everybody. For me, one of the most important things about being successful in this role is to make sure that you don't only speak to the execs and to your sponsors, but you want to speak to the technical people, and you want to build trust with them, and you want them to actually start trusting you and becoming a trusted partner for them. Because once you have that, then you are taking away some of the negative feelings that technical people sometimes have when dealing with financial-minded people. So it's really important to me to get onto the place of where your stakeholder is at.
Building trust is a very common response that I receive when asking this question to people. And I also remember when at my former employee, when we were building our FinOps organization, you can't be afraid to put yourself out there because you have to make connections and you have to build relationships. Very, very important. Tell us your feelings on the importance of sponsorship. How important is it for women to be sponsors to each other?
No, absolutely. It's of the utmost importance for me. I think my boss, my senior, is a woman, and I owe her so much in terms of her sponsorship of me and of this function, because the reality is those people are in rooms that you are not in.
Right, exactly.
So you need somebody to be able to stand up for you in those rooms and make sure that you get the actual the actual priority. in terms of what you are trying to do. So, and I try to be the same to the people, perhaps in my teams or perhaps in teams, that's close to me. Us women needs to actually stand up for ourselves and being sponsors to each other.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about mentorship. Mentorship and sponsorship are very different. How important is mentorship to you, and what does mentorship mean to you?
So mentorship is also very important, and especially when you've been in the bank for as long as I have, there's just certain wisdom that you are getting over the years, and those are the things that you can actually enrich the lives of your mentees. You can use that to enrich their lives. So, even if it is in a way, how do you say things? How do you not say things? Who do you rather ask? What is the better way to achieve this outcome versus that outcome? That is something that's only being taught by experience. And I think it's a privilege. For me, it's a privilege. I've been an old timer in the bank. It's a privilege for me to be able to give that knowledge to my team, male or female, and being able to guide them in terms of what is perhaps the better way to think about it and to get to where they want to be. Hard-learned lessons.
I remember the first time I was asked to be a mentor, I was so pleased and proud and excited. And what I found was I actually think I learned more as a mentor than I did as a mentee. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's so fulfilling too.
Yeah, exactly. March 8th was International Women's Day in the US, UK, and Australia. We celebrate Women's History Month all month in the month of March. Is there a historical woman living or no longer with us that has been kind of your hero or your person who's inspired you? If so, tell us about them.
I think there's two, and they died like a week from each other. And that was actually Princess Diana and Mother Teresa. And again, why? Because they were able to speak to so many people and to build those relationships with so many people to actually get the world to be a better place, right? So for me, that is something that I look, obviously we have to also give back. We are so lucky to and privileged really to be in the positions that we are. And I think I looked up to them. I was obviously much younger then, and but I really thought that there's a lesson for all of us to learn in the way that they were able to communicate at all levels.
Both very different
change.
Very different women with very different lives, but yet so similar.
That's it.
Yeah, so similar. I know you mentioned you're a reader. You said when we first met, you especially like to read to expand your knowledge in tech. What are the books or book you could recommend to other women?
So one of the books that I'm reading at the moment, and it is not a technical book at all. The name is Extreme Ownership, and it's actually by U.S. Navy SEALs. Can you see the book? And it's about, I think that also shapes the idea earlier of women taking their space, right? It is just taking accountability and inspiring. It's a very inspiring book in terms of us actually taking accountability for and making sure that we are chasing our prize. So I think that is something that I've really enjoyed reading. Of course, there's many others, and the FinOps book in itself is a great book to read, to expand your knowledge and so on. But I think this the whole the whole idea of extreme ownership, and the buck ends with you at the end of the day. It's something that I like to think that we all need to drive as almost a mentality. That if you want your life to change, you need to take that accountability, right? It's your ownership. Don't blame somebody else. Take ownership. So that's why I'm enjoying the specific book. It's just one of many.
We always need to look in the mirror, don't we? My last question is, tell me about how important being a part of the FinOps Foundation community has been to you and what you've gained from it.
Very, very important. I mean, that's my go-to group, right? For anything, and especially, when you just start getting into it, the guys and everybody is so willing to help each other. I think the FinOps Foundation has done a fantastic job in bringing people together. I've actually not seen a vibrant community like this before in my years of how the people just share and ask questions and share. And it really, I must say, I've met so many nice people. I've met so many very knowledgeable people from all stages in life and all works of life, because some people have an IT background, some people have a developer background, some people have a software asset management background. But we are all doing the same thing and chasing the same outcome. So no, it's I would really recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, it's a fabulous community. And I came into FinOps with a project management background. So I think there's a place for everyone in FinOps. Thank you. Thank you. This has been wonderful. Is there anything else you would like to share with our audience before we move on?
Just thank you for having me. It was lovely speaking to you.
Are you on LinkedIn? If someone wants to connect?
I am on LinkedIn. Yes. Please, you can follow me, or please send me a friend request. I love chatting and interacting with other similar like professionals and women, definitely. So yeah, absolutely. Have a look.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Check out more FinOps content on our YouTube channel. We appreciate the support.